Hey guys, it's Uncle Stitch. Today we're with Nick, and Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, in regards to car detailing here, started before I could even drive, just as a passion with my own car. And from that passion, started with an automotive detail company, worked my way up to managing 8 different dealership accounts. So I am pretty well versed in regards to some certain, I guess you could say, tools of the trade of detailing here.
Cool. Yep, I used to be one of those employees that was a manager at one of his detailerships. So today we're going to be looking at Nick's RX 350. And before we begin, so why is it that we don't want to take our cars to the car wash every time they get dirty?
So it depends. Now, if it's a bristleless, like a touchless car wash, those are okay. Now, if you go to a car wash that has bristles, you're literally going to have every single person that's been there before you on those bristles, all the dirt, all the dust, all the mud is going to be literally just slamming your panels, and it's going to scratch your car unbelievably bad. I currently got lazy and ran this through and a couple of times, and now I'm paying the price. So definitely need to get that addressed.
And that's one of the reasons why we're going to be using black light today. So with that, all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so the way Nick likes to start his car is with speed shine. Why is it that you like to use speed shine first?
Well, primarily I like to do this to get all the dust and sediments off, just because of where we live here in Arizona. And within 30 minutes of having your car cleaned, you're gonna have dust and sediment. So before we do any type of treatment, we typically like to make sure that we have a clean canvas, make sure all the dust is currently off the vehicle and off the paint.
And also it's important to mention that we use an anti-static speed shine because Nick has had issues in the past with the pink stuff. It's just like a magnet, it attracts dirt and it actually sticks to the exterior. It creates like a positive charge to the outside of the paint that dirt will magnetize itself to the car.
Yeah, primarily I've actually had, I had an IS 350 that for some reason, every time I would use that pink speed shine, I would literally have pieces of the rag stick to the paint like a positive charge. So that's one of the reasons why we use the anti-static.
All right, cool. We'll go ahead and get started.
Now we're just wiping it down, we're doing nothing else.
I love it how you can feel a difference after you apply this stuff, how nice and smooth it is.
Oh, isn't it great?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Now, one thing that you want to do primarily is if your vehicle has not had a lot of tending to with just the paint aspect, I recommend doing a clay bar. Just because we want to make sure you get all the purities off, make sure that you get, all of the gunk from the elements off of the paint before you start doing any type of treatment. Now, just to give you an idea, we're just simply wiping it down. It didn't even look like the car was very dirty, but this is what you're looking at for one door and one quarter panel here in Arizona. Now, Ohio, places like that, not as much, not so bad. But here, this is, it makes a big difference to make sure that that's properly clean.
So we're using Chemical Guys Speed Shine on the windows. They do have streak-free products. There's the blue streak-free. There's also buffing compounds depending on how bad your windows are. But if your windows don't have the need for an acid wash or anything crazy, Speed Shine works perfect on keeping the windows nice and clean and streak-free.
Now, I'm not spraying it necessarily on the windows, especially because it's 100 and who knows what out here, but I have it on a damp rag, just from doing the panels with the paint. So that'll just allow us to get the dust and sediment off. That's the primary purpose of this for this treatment we're doing.
Might have to spray this one a little bit.
All right, so one thing we are going to be doing here is using Chemical Guys Bare Bones Dark Shine Undercarriage Protectant. Now, I highly recommend this stuff. It is oil-based, and it's not just to get your wheel wells dark. It actually protects not just plastics, rubber, metal for your frame. I recommend this in all environments. This is something that you can use, when you're getting prepped for snow, things like that. This stuff really, really works in regards to protecting the underbody and undercarriage of your car.
And how much of that do you typically apply?
I use a pretty good amount, actually. I use it to the point where it's actually dripping, just so when it dries kind of more of an even coat. But from what I have used this with, it does last quite some time. Now, if you're power washing it, it's obviously going to come off. But if you just, typically wash your car on a regular basis, this is something that will really be beneficial for long term.
And when it's drying, the streaking process, does it clean itself up, or do you have to wipe it?
Actually, all I do simply, and on my my Trailblazer, I just recently put it on there for the first time, and it looked pretty streaky at first, but it dried very even, and it looked fantastic. So I didn't even have to apply any type of brush or rag to it. It just simply dried evenly by itself.
And if you've got a super greasy wheel well, it's maybe got some salt on it or some debris, would you recommend degreasing and power washing?
Absolutely. I would definitely recommend degreasing, power washing. And if you also are in a environment with salt, I always recommend, and it sounds crazy, when I lived back in Ohio, every 2 to 3 days I used to power wash my wheel wells and my underbody, just because of the fact that vehicles don't hold up in salt. But this is something that can prolong the duration of how much you do power wash your wheel wells if you are doing that. Now, don't be too stingy with it. Make sure you coat everything well, just to make sure that actually there's a solid coat that when it dries, it'll be even.
So now we're going to be doing tire dressing. Nick, tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So what I have, actually Zach and myself have found to be a very, very solid tire dressing from Chemical Guys is the Galactic Black Wet Look Tire Shine Dressing. Now, they have a lot of other products that are good, but this one I have realized is something that lasts long term. My tires, I primarily keep them dressed and clean primarily. Now, if this is your first time doing this, I would highly recommend degreasing. Now, what you'd want to do is wash them, put some water on them, scrub them, spray some degreaser on there, but don't leave the degreaser on too long because it will actually cause some issues with the tire, as well as it will cause streaking issues. But definitely, I highly recommend, if your tires have brown streaks, to degrease. Make sure that you are, again, wash them with water, just put water on them, spray the degreaser, scrub them. Could be a rag, could be, sponge, or a bristle brush with the degreaser, then power wash it off. Make sure that you power wash it off, let it dry before you actually add the tire shine.
And what type of degreaser would you recommend, the green one or the orange?
Now, if we're referring to Chemical Guys, both the degreasers are about the same potency. The green is super citrus. The other one is practically the same, as just as odorless. So it really is personal preference. Both of them are going to do the same job at the end of the day.
Cool.
All right, so I'm gonna apply this now. So one thing I do is it's gonna clearly get on the wheels. I spray it on and I use an applicator pad. Once I do that, it's gonna get on the rims. I actually use the same speed shine that I use to clear the paint with all the dust, sediment, and I actually will clean the rims with that. You get an amazing just shine on your actual rims. So that's one thing, if you do have it, I highly recommend doing. Now you use the applicator pad. Now before you drive also, you want to make sure that this sets and dries a little bit, because if you don't and you get on the highway, it's going to spill all of this all over the back, and even actually the lower part of your paint. So I definitely would recommend to let this set before you go take off. And as you can see here, it's getting all over the actual rim, but it's not an issue. We'll take care of that with the speed shine after.
So if they have chrome reels, what would you recommend the process be for that?
Realistically, if your chrome is actually clean, I would do the exact same process. Now, if you don't have clean chrome wheels, I would definitely go with a chrome cleaner, degreaser, to make sure that you get all of those impurities off, just to make sure that it's a clean canvas for when you're doing just even the speed shine. Chrome polish is also fantastic if you have chrome wheels, just to really bring back that mirror image.
Have you ever used aluminum foil on rust?
Yes, I actually do use that. It works very well, and it's not abrasive to the chrome itself. So it just really, if you just put it on the areas that do have the rust, like the pitting, that will eliminate that rust factor for you. I mean, it's always going to be there, but it'll actually take away that discolorment, and it'll make sure that you have the rim as clean as you'll possibly be. I mean, I've used it on numerous vehicles. I used it on my Escalade chrome wheels. I had a Lexus with chrome wheels, and it did a fantastic job, and it's budget friendly. All right, so as I was saying earlier, I'm going to be using the anti-static speed shine on the wheels as well. Now, Chemical Guys synthetic quick detailer, phenomenal stuff. You can get it in the gallon jugs. You can also get it in the smaller bottles depending on what you're looking for. But again, does a fantastic job. So I just wanted to give you guys a look here on what the synthetic speed shine does to just simple alloy wheels. It makes it pop. This is why I use it. It really makes just something that doesn't typically shine.
Hey guys, so one of the things in Arizona, we have a lot of heat, and heat will destroy your plastics. It will turn them gray. You'll see a lot of videos on YouTube where people are using heat guns or using torches to fix their headlights, fix their plastics. That's the last thing you want to do. The reason why is because heat will pull the oil out of the plastics and bring them to the surface of the plastics. And once that oil is gone, it's 10 times worse. So we use a conditioning product, a restoration product called VRP, vinyl rubber plastic. And what we do is we apply a liberal amount onto the plastic and let it sit for a minute, and then we wipe it dry. So I just put a little dot. Oops, that's way too much. So we'll just put a little bit and kind of smear it around. Too much, Kim. It doesn't take a lot. A little bit goes a long way. What I like to do is shove my finger in the corner of the rag and get into the cracks. And then we just go down the car doing that. This will help keep your plastics nice and black looking. You don't want your plastics to have too much shine to them, because plastics don't come shiny from the factory. You just want them to be a nice flat black all the way around. Want to get a bead about like that, not too much, but enough to spread it on liberally. And we'll come back and wipe it all off. So what this stuff is doing is getting into the cracks of the plastic and conditioning to give it that nice flat black look. Stuff also works on interiors as well. Does not have to be black plastic. It can be tan, white, any other color. wiping off the excess. And then we've got a nice flat black looking surface on our plastics. Alright guys, so we're going to be using black light. It's a product from Chemical Guys. And what this stuff does is we're going to apply it. You can use a DA, but it's recommended also to use a applicator pad, which is the route that we're going to go today, is with an applicator pad. So what this stuff does is it hazes over. You want to, just like you do when you're buffing, you go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down per panel, and then you go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right per panel. Once this stuff hazes over and you wipe it off, if it has not achieved what you wanted it to, you can reapply and put another application on. But this fills the surfaces of micro scratches and swirl marks, stuff like that, not heavy swirl marks. But if you stick your fingernail over where the scratch is and your fingernail dips into the scratch, you're going to need a lot heavier of a product than this. But all of the light swirl marks that you typically get from going to a car wash can typically be resolved with black light. It's a very beautiful shine. The way that I like to go about it is I'll start on one side of the car and I'll work my way all the way around the car. And once I get to all the way around the car, I'll time it and make sure that at least 15 minutes has been spent. 15 to 25 minutes is a golden area. So you want to, when it hazes over, you want to let it haze over for 15 minutes. That's its cure time. Well, that's its first cure time. It's after you wipe it off, then it cures over the course of 24 hours. But you don't want to wipe it off before 15 minutes. You want to at least wait 15 minutes. So you pretty much get enough time to do the entire car.
Now, if there is any specific scratches that are deeper than just small surface scratches, realistically what you should do is do a 2 to 3 stage buff. So you're going to want to cut, then you're going to want to polish, and then potentially a fine polish, depending on what you're using product wise. But just as a recommendation, if it's something that is a little bit deeper in the clear coat, that would be our recommendation.
And just like with the applicator pad, you're going to use the same motions as you would with a buffer. You're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down over the area, left, right, left, right, left, right, and keep doing that until those scratches are no longer there. You should be able to see through the wax, you should be able to see through the compound, and you should be able to tell when those scratches have been resolved.
All right, well, let's get started.
So I'm putting 2 lines. This is what they recommend, and the Chemical Guys So it's been about 20 minutes. And this stuff, literally, you just put your rag on top of it and move your rag and it wipes itself off. Get this thing wiped off real quick and let you guys see a close-up of how mirror image the paint is. Alright, go ahead and take a close-up. Beautiful mirror image. Alright, so what I want to do is use a fresh shot of a rag and do all the trim pieces of the windows that got hit with the black light first, and it should just easily wipe right off. We're going to use the clean side of the rag for that to clean all the trim pieces so we don't have to come back later on with speed shine and fix that. And if you get it on the window, it literally leaves no residue at all, wipes right off. It's very difficult with a DA or a buffer to not hit the trim pieces. And nobody's got the time to take them all off. So now that I got the trim pieces wiped off, I'm going to go ahead and finish the paint. It's also very important to mention that if you do not have a well-kept car that is taken care of all the time, what you're going to want to do is use a clay bar after you speed shine and get all as much debris off the surface as you can, and then you want to go to this step. However, this car gets detailed very, very frequently. So therefore, use of a clay bar was not needed on this car. But if you've never clay barred your car, it's a good idea to clay bar it because that helps it get a very, very smooth finish. It picks up all the debris and little things that are contaminants that are sitting in the paint. Oh yes. She's coming up very nice. Wow. Where do you see it in this light? Man, we gotta take a picture of this shit. This is beautiful. This whole side of the car, jeez. That's freaking clean. That is beautiful. That is cool. Less noticeable than what it was.
Now, I always like to buff in a circular motion when I'm using a rag like this. I guess you could call it buffing, considering we're removing this haze. But I always just like preferring to do whatever works for you. My recommendation is always doing it in a circular motion.
Man, that's pretty. So this is what gives it that nice shine that when you take a left or a right turn, the sunlight will follow a line down the car.
Yep, I'm super impressed with this product. Very easy to apply.
Let's get that sunlight in there so people can see. Gives it that beautiful wet look.
Now, all of the work that was done today, very, very easy to do. Anybody can do it. You just got to go out and get the product and just start getting to work. But I sincerely recommend the black light product.
It's not just for black cars.
Clearly.
Beautiful shine. All right, guys, so that was it. That's general maintenance. We went a little bit above and beyond with the black light product, but this is how we take care of our cars here in Phoenix, Arizona, from a professional who's made a living out of this.
Yep, and we're going to start doing a lot more of these. So we're going to start focusing on videos on buffing. We're going to show you, step processes. We're going to show you also aspects of things just for overall maintenance. And it's not even necessarily maintenance, but even things above and beyond. If you really want to take care of your car, you have a garage queen, something like that, we're going to show you these processes so you can actually do it at home too.
All right, guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.